Now let's meet a man who is using a laser beam to clean and restore great works of art.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is John Asmus.
Number two.
My name is John Asmus.
And number three.
My name is John Asmus.
Make notes if you choose, panel, as I read to you what John Asmus has to say. I, John Asmus, am a physicist and laser researcher. Lasers control the color, the direction, and the duration of light. In recent years, I have used these devices to clean statues. Remarkably, hundreds of years of dirt, grime, hog fat, and pollution can be removed by the use of lasers. This photograph shows a laser in use. Now note the concentration of light on the statue's head. Illustrative of the crumbling and wholesale destruction of sculpture is this church exterior in Venice. The archway of the Doge's Palace in Venice affords a dramatic example of the effectiveness of laser cleaning. Note the contrast on the left-hand side of your screen. Note the contrast from one side of the archway to the other. Also at the Doge's Palace, this specific piece was the first one that I worked on that proved just what a laser can do. Now, this last photograph has nothing to do with laser cleaning. Using ultrasonic waves, I've been endeavoring to discover whether murals by Leonardo da Vinci were covered over by the paintings seen here. Rediscovery of the missing Da Vinci murals would indeed be one of the most important artistic discoveries of the century. Signed, John Asmus. To give you a better idea of what I'm talking about, this stone is from the San Marco Church in Venice, and it's turned black, as you can see. I'm going to put it right here. It's turned black from the action of air pollutants, which eat into the stone and cause it to crumble. Now, I'm going to show you how easily it crumbles. Just take... Just look at that. You can see it going down. Just thought I'd show you that. I knew you'd be interested, and we'll start the questioning with a lady who knows about laser beams and everything. We'll start with you, Peggy.
I don't know anything about laser beams, but number one, how do they get hog fat on the stuff?
Well, they didn't have silicones that far back, about a century ago.
Yes.
They rendered it, they put it on to protect it, actually. Instead, it attracted, after a bit of time, a lot of pollutants and makes for the stone cancer that I take care of.
I see. Now, number two, what did they use to clean Paris up?
Paris?
It's the city of Paris. They cleaned a lot of their public buildings. Do you know
They used to use sandblasting and steam.
Uh-huh.
Proved very ineffective because it produces more cancer. Just the way you'd take a tooth, if you don't inlay it after you drill it, then you develop a larger cavity.
Okay. Now, number one, where is it suspected that the Leonardo murals are?
In Florence.
No, in Florence. Well, and number three, what church?
It's not in a church. It's in the Palazzo Vecchio.
And what paintings are on top of it now?
Oh, there's some mural paintings, battle pieces by Giorgio Vasari.
Well, now, what do you think, number three? Do you think the Leonardo murals are under there?
There's something there, but it'll be a question of trying to decide what it is that we found.
Well, number two, how can you decide that till you remove the top part off?
We're doing it through holograms. In other words, that's a form of three-dimensional photography. And we're taking these holograms, we're bringing them back here to the United States, doing a study, and through these holograms we can find out whether there is anything under there or not.
Barry.
Number three, is it necessary to bring those holograms back to the United States, if you agree with that's what they're doing, or couldn't that be done in the other country?
There's a good deal more in the way of facilities here for analyzing the holograms.
All right. Number three, isn't it difficult to get permission to do something like this? Must have been very involved.
Well, you have the normal kinds of political difficulties. You have to get approvals from the national government and from the local governments, and if they're convinced that you can do good work and that it will somehow further art restoration, they'll go along with it.
Number one, is there any possible danger to these paintings by using a laser?
No,
couldn't it be misused?
No.
We hear of lasers going through even metal and so forth.
Oh, well, that's a totally different kind. I don't use a ruby laser as a rule.
I see. Number two, do you use any kind of glasses at all while you're working with this laser light?
Yes, we're required to use certain protective instruments. However, sometimes we do get sloppy about it.
Do you have to clear out the place?
Buzzer, and let's go to Kitty.
Oh, well, number one, I'm fascinated. You said you don't use the kind of a laser that would go through metal. Is your laser hooked up to an electrical outlet?
Oh, yes, a laser, actually it's a process for controlling light, but it consists of a transformer. Then you have a rod that's surrounded by, or air, water, whatever you're using for a transmitter, that's surrounded by the strong light sources.
Thank you.
And
thank you. Number two, when you put your laser on like that child's statue, how long does it take to clean it up? I mean, to clean up one spot?
Well, the whole statue took a week.
Oh, thank you. Number three, when you put your laser on a spot, does it immediately clean?
Well, the laser flashes for a thousandth of a second, and during that thousandth of a second, it cleans the small spot that the laser impinges upon.
So then you have to put it on another little tiny spot. You can't sort of do this and get it around all at once.
That doesn't work very well.
You have to really beam it in.
Bill Cullen.
Number three, you say it cleans the spot, which means it destroys, literally, that dirt which is on that particular portion. Is that correct?
Sure.
Now, do you control the destructive element of the laser beam as far as distance from the source is concerned, number three?
Sure. You have a lens at the output of the laser, and if that lens is closer to the object, then the focus of the lens is closer, and you'll have a higher intensity.
Is it safe to say that laser differs from ordinary light in frequency or more than just frequency, number three?
Well, the frequency can be the same. Lasers produce light of different frequencies, and light bulbs produce light of different frequencies.
If you don't use the ruby, what do you use? The ruby laser?
Neodymium-YAG or...
the what?
Neodymium-YAG.
Now, number three, is it true that a ruby is at the base of a ruby laser, that a ruby does figure into it? Number two?
Number two,
yes,
it does.
And number one, if on using your laser you got a little bit out of adjustment and made the destructive, am I correct, the destruction portion of that beam is right where it touches the dirt?
No, that's really impossible. I start out on the light side, actually. When I get up to a point where it goes up in a puff of smoke like that.
Exactly.
When I get up to that point, and don't forget, it's a very... I'm always working underneath rather than on top of.
Uh-huh.
Well, hey, they did some kind of a job, those three fellows, and it's up to our panel to find the real one. They have to vote. Do you think it's number one? Or do you think it is number two? Or do you think it is number three? All right, Peggy, how did you vote?
Well, I voted for Neodymium-YAG. 3.
All right.
He said Neodymium-YAG.
Okay, Barry.
Yeah, that was about the most sensible thing I heard. It was really dazzling that these three men could do so well on such a technical subject. I was even surprised by the panel here.
Okay, Kitty.
I voted for the same reason Peggy did.
You gonna make it unanimous, Bill?
Number one can clean my painting. Number three, I mean.
Oh, number three. Oh, so everybody voted for number three. It's unanimous, all right? We'll find out. Will the real John Asmus please stand up? Ah, they got him. Okay. Number one, what is your name? What do you do?
My name's Jack Selby. I'm really a hologram. I've just completed my graduate studies in modern literature.
Okay. Number two, what is your name? What do you do?
I'm Bob Fisher. I'm on the board of directors of Home State Bank in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Okay, well, we thank you, too, and we thank you, John Asmus, for playing To Tell the Truth. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
One loan, one pay.
Just time to say goodbye. Hope you enjoyed it.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of challenges will receive fashion jewelry from Sarah Coventry or jewelry for every occasion. See the jewelry with fashion know-how at a Sarah Coventry Home Fashion Show. Our second team will receive Turtle Extra. Extra easy, durable, brilliant new Turtle Extra. The extra hard shell car wax. Top of the line from Turtle Wax. This is Alan Calder speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production.
Find out what some folks do to pay the rent with What's My Line and Wally Bruner next on Game Show Network. Your place to play along.